I've been trying to watch this movie for years, but I just didn't feel like it. Thanks for watching my video. Bye. No, the video is not over. That was a bad joke. I don't even consider it a joke, but whatever. Almost every video on YouTube about this film is either talking about the meaning of the movie or what the disease in the movie is referring to in real life, and how it represents STDs or whatever, and how it is about the dark truth of leaving childhood and entering adulthood by intercourse. I at first decided to say in this video that I don't think the movie is that deep and it's just a regular horror movie but with a little bit different style and feel to it. But I watched it after watching some reviews about the movie and they were right. It is that deep. And after visiting The Myth of American Sleepover, the previous project of the director of It Follows, and Under the Silver Lake, his next film after It Follows, I became completely convinced that David Robert Mitchell, the director of these movies, actually has some thoughts behind what he makes. Anyways, I'm not here to dig deep into it and debunk it. There are plenty of good videos on that topic. I'm here to talk about my experience with the movie and the reasons I liked it and the reasons I didn't. This video has no spoilers. The only thing that I'm gonna mention from the story is the main plot. The way this movie was portrayed in the trailers and the way people were talking about it made it look like it's the most bone-chilling thing you could have watched. Turns out, no, it's not. It is not as scary as media says, even for someone like me who is not desensitized to horror because I don't watch horror movies 24/7. This movie is more about unease and stress. Its main horror is not based on shock and jump scares. Even when a jump scare happens, it is to see the protagonist get scared. The audience is not the main target. You've probably either seen the movie or at least know what the movie is about. It's about an entity that can shapeshift and will always follow anyone who gets into the cycle of it. How exactly do you get in the cycle? By sleeping with someone that was already in it. How even this whole intercourse demon cycle began? We don't know. The movie is very vague about the entity's past and doesn't mention any of the lore behind it, which I think works well for this film. Usually, if there's any lore, it ends up being something cliched like the entity came from hell or something like that we have seen in 90% of other horror movies, and I hope if there is going to be a second movie, their idea is fresh. The movie is more of a psychological horror, and it does a good job to be that. How, you might ask? After watching the movie, you realize that it sticks with you for days. One of the reasons it happens is because of how weird the film is. Like the way the whole neighborhood was set and how people act, how the technology in this film is timeless and you can't tell what year everything is happening in, is just bizarre in the best way possible. And honestly, that is one of the features that makes this movie different from other horror movies. Fun fact, the reason that the whole movie is so dreamy is because it is written based on David Robert Mitchell's nightmares that he had as a kid. That is also the reason why many of the characters' actions don't have any consequences. And that is great because most of other movies happen in a world based on real life. And for that reason, the writer cannot put many things in the story because it simply doesn't work the way the writer wants to work. I think this movie found a very good excuse to be creative, to set a world that will let the imagination of the writer just run wild. Because in a world that we don't have that much consequences of our actions, we can do many things that we can't do in real life. That's obvious, actually. Yeah. Bye.